I've gone with bloody blade where the ravens followed, and with screaming spear, Vikings fought fiercely. Raging we give battle, fire ran through men's houses. I let bloody bodies sleep in town gateways. Now, if you thought that was a pickup line a Viking used at a feast, then you would be right. Typically, when you picture Vikings, you picture the mad berserkers and the raging and pillaging of villages, when that could not be far from the truth. In this video, I'm going to be showing you the hidden side of Viking culture that you've never seen before. Origin. What we have to do is start from the beginning to see how their sense of self came to be. The Viking culture starts off with a tree named Yggdrasil. This tree stemmed off to what's known as the Nine Worlds. One of the worlds, known as Midgard, would eventually find a piece of driftwood found on the beach. This driftwood would eventually become the foundation of how humans came to be. Odin and his brothers gave the driftwood the five senses, and then Ash and Elm were the people that gave birth to the Viking culture. Myths. One of the biggest shifts in Viking culture was the transition of traditional beliefs to Christianity beliefs. In fact, the very concept of religion was a very foreign idea to them. Instead, the Vikings would move through a set of customs and rituals that they would move throughout their everyday life. Like how the Vikings had customs that they weren't even aware of, what are some bad customs that you could have in your life that could change your life for the better? Body and soul. This is why every vicious Viking today actually had a woman in them. The Viking culture actually broke down into four parts of what they consisted of. The first is what's known as hammer, shell, or shape. This is the outer coating of what it consisted of a Viking, meaning the eyes, the skin, and everything outside that you can see. The next is hugr, the sort of shape of a person. This is the very essence of what a Viking was, their personality traits and relationships and so forth. Next is the Haminja, the embodiment of a person's luck. These Haminja were free spirits that can move from people to people. There have often been some accounts of Vikings retreating due to the amount of Haminjas or luck spirits the opponent had. The last is Fylgja, which translates to follower. These were sort of protectors watching over the Vikings, kind of like an angel over your shoulder. When a Viking would pass away, the Fylgja spirit would move down the Viking heritage. War. Now, we all have the conception of Vikings being this merciless killers. Now, there definitely was some of those, but it's a little off from the truth. At Torksey, the Lincolnshire base of the Great Heathen Army, confirmed huge number of Viking forces in the thousands, which included women and children. This means that the Vikings all had families. They're kind of like a giant self-sufficient sort of tribe. These communities had all sorts of types of people, from settlers, blacksmiths, and much more. As brutal Vikings may seem to be, they were actually very civilized people with a great deal of self-worth within themselves. From their sense of self, to their body and soul, the supernatural that they believe in, to their warfare. Vikings were people like you and I, they just had different beliefs, and I hope you learned a lot from this video. This concludes being one step closer to your true ego. The best way to support me is hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications below. Thank you friends for sticking around to the end of the video. This means so much to me, and have a good day.